Hi everybody, I'm Thomas from Virginia Outdoors Unlimited, and today we're going to be talking scouting for ducks, and in particular the foods I look for when scouting for ducks in swampy environments. So where I am today is I'm actually down here in one of my favorite swamps to hunt, and I'm basically just checking a bunch of the different holes that I like to hunt in here and looking for food sources. This is typically what I start doing around mid-July, late July, because a lot of times these swamps hold water until really mid-late June, and then it starts evaporating away. Once we start getting these 100-degree days, which you can probably tell from me sweating, we have another one shaping up today. It's only about 90 right now, but I'm wearing neoprene waders, so I'm just about dying. I basically come down in these swamps starting mid-late July, start scouting them all the way through August, and what I'm looking for is food. That's what I always look for. And I know I'm getting into this waterfowl management thing a lot more this year, and I'm learning about planting foods, but one of the first things I ever began studying when I began hunting waterfowl was what natural foods to look for, what foods that I didn't have to do any work. You know, if I'm just scouting a swamp for the first time, what should I be looking for to identify where the birds are going to be, especially in a pre-season scenario like this. You know, there's not going to be birds in here, there's not even water in here right now. Basically, the food source is really what's going to be telling me where the birds are going to be, and then that gives me a reasonable guess going into the season of how to scout it and where to maximize my efforts. I'm gonna go ahead, flip this camera around and start showing y'all some different stuff. So what we got here is really what I would call a timber slough. I don't really know what else to call it. You can see there's some trees in here, and we have a timber stand off to the left and a timber stand off to the right, and this typically only gets about 12 inches of water in it during the season, but the black ducks absolutely love this little hole. The mallards do too, but I can't tell you how many black ducks I've seen drop right in here while scouting. The first food source I actually want to show y'all in here is the one that I think the black ducks really love. I actually call it black duck candy because of how much I equate it with their presence. Here's your black duck candy. This is called arrowhead, also known as arum. We call it duck corn, and I'll show you why we call it that in just a second. You can see that little pod there, and you can see some of the seeds in it. And these are actually the plant seeds. So midway through winter, these pods basically release all these seeds, and these seeds start just floating around, and they look exactly like corn. They turn a bright yellow color, and the black ducks and mallards absolutely just love them. This is a plant that's really water tolerant. It can grow in water, so you don't really need these moist soil conditions to have this plant grow. And right here next to our arum is actually the next plant we're going to be talking about, and this is a plant that actually might not do as well as I would have liked to see it do in here this summer due to the late drawdown of the water. Right here we have some smartweed, and this is very young smartweed. This probably only came up, I don't know, a week or two ago. I'm not sure what type of smartweed this is. There are different types of smartweed, so I'm not sure if this is Pennsylvania smartweed or the common smartweed or what. Midsummer, I'm typically looking for this being about 3 or 4 foot tall to really produce as much seed as I would like. But if you don't know what smartweed is, I'll put a couple pictures up of some full stands with full heads. I think it's a favorite among mallards in particular. I always find the mallards where I find the smartweed. Right here we have the little bit of water that's left in this hole, and this is actually where I'm going to show you the third food source, and this is by far the smallest food source that you're going to be looking for, but I think it's honestly one of the best. All that little green, this is all a plant that I call duckweed, and well, it's actually known as duckweed. And what this plant is basically just a small floating leaf that grows in water, and the ducks love it. In particular, I think wood ducks love it. I always find wood ducks on it. It does need water to survive, or at least needs a wet habitat to survive. So it's probably not going to do as well in here as some of these other plants. If this mud dries out, most of this duckweed will die. But if you just have, you know, man, all you need is just a little bit of water like this, and this stuff will survive all summer long. The thing I also look for in these swamps is stuff like this. You can see this is where there used to be an old tree here, so you have an old root ball, and this allows a lot of these grasses and stuff to grow in swamps where they typically wouldn't be able to. You know, this is going to come out of the water a lot earlier in the year and allow germination to happen pretty early. So you get a lot of your annual grasses coming up in spots like this. You have some smartweed in there too, but I think a lot of these little old root balls or just trees in here allow for a lot of additional growth of stuff that typically wouldn't be able to get started this early in the year in a spot like this. The last thing I actually want to ask about is this stuff. I always see this stuff in swamps in late summer. I don't really see it much past this point. It seems like it drops its heads right about now, so maybe it's just going to be a late and early season food source if the ducks do like it. But I just see this stuff all over in these swamps, and it's always coming up out of these root balls that I was talking about. You can see you got all sorts of this grass coming up out of here. So if anybody knows what species this is, I would definitely like to hear it. So that's really all I got for y'all today. Those are the main 3 food sources I look for in these swamps. They're what I call the trifecta, because when I find all 3 of those together, I almost always have ducks, and those are typically the areas I focus on scouting the most in a swamp environment. If anybody has any questions about any of the plants I showed you, about any stuff with scouting, looking for food, whatever it might be, drop it in the comments section down below and I'll make sure to get back to you. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I post a ton of waterfowl content like this during the off season and particularly during waterfowl season, so make sure to click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Hope everybody enjoyed today's video, and thanks for watching.